Hi everyone, welcome back to Keeping It Unfiltered. Today is episode 20. I can't believe it's already been 20 episodes. Well, as you can tell by the title, today's topic is going to be who do you take advice from? And I know like when I posted this topic, people were like, what do you mean, Monet? Like, be more specific. Honestly, the answer isn't as easy as people think. But to start off, we're going to talk about different advice that you can get. So, we got financial advice, we got relationship advice, situational advice, advice on how to deal with friendships. I think that a lot of people go wrong with taking friendship advice. And I mean, like, let's say you get into something with one of your friends and you're like, I don't know how to deal with it. So, you're trying to get advice on this situation. To be honest, you should not be getting advice from people who can't keep a friend. And y'all know exactly what I mean when I say people who can't keep a friend. These are people that never have friends. And I'm not talking about the people who keep a small circle, because I get that. Like, I don't let a whole bunch of people in my circle either. However, if you know that somebody has a bad history with 90% of their friends and don't even have a best friend and is always doing something like with random people, those are the ones you got to be careful with about taking advice from. You probably would go to that individual, talk to them about how you had a situation with your friend that you've been friends with 10 years plus. They'll mess around and tell you, just dub them, like, don't even talk to them no more. Y'all been friends for 10 years, okay? I think that the longevity of your relationship, actually the substance of your friendships, they matter. Like, you shouldn't just sit there and say, oh yeah, I'm going to forget that friendship just because someone told me that's the best thing to do. Just because you can't keep a friend don't mean that I can't keep a friend. Y'all could talk it out. Another thing too, we got friend haters, okay? Some people might envy that you have the relationship, and these might not even be people who can't keep a friend necessarily. It could just mean like they're jealous of you and another person, and then they would just always make it seem like that one person in their life is doing something wrong. This does not happen always. So if you have a friend telling you that somebody is doing something wrong, or a friend is using you or taking advantage of you, that does not mean that they're hating. I'm saying situational, okay? Like occasionally things like this happens, and the friend probably is really didn't mean any harm, or really isn't trying to do something wrong to you, and you got that one friend that always has something negative to say about that friend. I feel like I've been in both situations where I had someone sit there and try to make it seem like my friend is always doing something, and I'm like, I've been friends with this person a long time. I know they don't mean any harm. Also, I've had the situation where a person was taking advantage of me, and maybe I couldn't see that myself, but people from the outside were telling me. And both times, like, it was easy to assess, like, which one was which. So pay attention. Moving on to the next thing, financial. You know me, one thing that I genuinely care about is finances. I really get upset with y'all when y'all take financial advice from people that y'all literally watched not handle their finances well. Credit advice is probably my number one where I get aggravated at when I see, like, and I've spoken to my friends about this millions of times. If you didn't feel like you were handling your credit well at a young age, do not advise the next person to do it. And I mentioned this in another video, so I'm not going to go in on it, but like, talking about how people are telling people who have no money to go get a credit card. Y'all, this conversation makes me so upset, because it's like, I'm not saying I'm the best person when it comes to like financial advice. I would like to say like I'm somewhat equipped, only because I really care about my finances. I really have like a bunch of planners, and I sit there and I write my expenses. I go through my expenses. If not every single day, every other day, sit there, check my account just to make sure everything good. Okay? Because there have been a couple times I caught a couple things. Okay? Like, I'm not saying I'm the best of the best, but I did go to school for accounting. And like I said, I already care in my actual life. Like, not just in a workplace about finances. And I'm just like, there's so many people who try to tell people what to do with their money who don't even manage it correctly on their own. Now, I wasn't going to bring it up this early, but I might as well, because I know some people are saying, no, just because I'm giving advice, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable. And you are correct. I feel like if you did have a pitfall, that goes for any type of situation. You had a pitfall and it's something that you want to advise your friend, like, do not be like me. I completely understand that. I feel like that's a completely different type of advice, in my opinion. I feel like it's when it comes down to, I know what's best for you, and I think this is what you should do, and I know this is what you have to do. However, you tried it yourself and it did not work for you. It's one thing to say, don't be like me. I made the mistake and did this. That's great advice. And I think a lot of people feel like they shouldn't take advice from people who have had pitfalls. I think you should in anything, because it's like, okay, you're just telling me what not to do. I think that's valuable advice. And truthfully, some people probably think I'm talking about major pitfalls. No, it could be they just happen to spend something, X amount of money on a product that they shouldn't have spent money on. Take that advice. I don't get, and I don't think I'll ever get why people think that some advice is invalid. And I'll get into the comments and explain why I feel the way I do about it. And that particular subject, I do think it's important for you to take advice from people you've seen correctly use their money. I don't know about y'all, I don't like losing money at all. I came across a few situations where I caught myself spending on money on things that I shouldn't have had. And I feel like it's something we should not play with. So if you do have a friend, you do have a relative or someone you look up to, I'm not talking about these people who keep trying to charge you X amount of money to fix your credit. I personally feel like it's a scam. You are able to fix your credit. Take it from me. Take it from me, and like, a lot of people know I have my financial advising business, which I'll list down below since we're talking about advice and stuff like that. There's been many clients that I've had fix their credit off of me just giving them some information on what to do. I do not charge them hundreds of dollars. I do not say I'm going to wipe your credit. First of all, this is some free advice, but people can sit there and wipe your credit. That doesn't mean that once you get back on track, you're going to be able to get your credit together and stay on track at that. Like, people really just getting money out of y'all at that point. And it kind of frustrates me that y'all paying all that money for somebody to fix your credit when you can sit there and do it yourself and get yourself on track to be consistent with properly using your credit. But that's another story for another day. Watch who you take financial advice from. And if you could use a credible source, make sure you're using a credible source. And you want to make sure that you have those friends that properly use their money. If you're getting advice from friends, relatives, or anybody else who you see constantly throw their money away, maybe that's not the best person to tell you what to do when you have $100 left for the week or the month. You might not want to go to that person for that. Another topic that we have to watch who we get advice from is weight loss. Everybody's body is different. So it's not more so about the weight. Just watch what people do. So if you know that you want to lose weight, because some people don't want to sit there and change their diet, and that is completely fine. I don't think it's a problem with it. Your journey is different than mine or someone else's. So if you know that for you, what you need to do is eat correctly, maybe don't take weight loss advice from someone who you see, they might be fit, right? But they're sitting there eating whatever they want. I say that because 9 times out of 10, this is not for everybody, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Just eat whatever you want and you'll be able to lose the weight. Let me tell y'all, how if I really wanted to eat what I wanted, I would be bigger than this, and I want to lose weight. So, like, that's not gonna work for me. Like, I actually have to eat healthy throughout the week, and I know some people are like, "Oh no, you just gotta make sure that you just change your calories, change your carbs." Like me, I realize the biggest difference when I'm strictly eating healthy. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but I know that's something that works for me. Another topic that we may need advice for are dilemmas. And that's considered like the situational part of it. So it's like when getting information on things like that, you should find somebody that's like minded. Because if you're saying you have a family event or to go to a friend's kickback, and the family event is like a birthday, and you and your family value family events, but that friend values partying over that, like maybe they might not be the best person to take advice from. And I know that's kind of a dumb example, but I just feel like there are many situations that go on where it's like either this or that, and the person thinking about what they would rather do for their own self-interest and not thinking of you and how you are, they might not be the best person to take advice from. This situational advice can even include the more on the extreme side, such as, "Oh, I'm feeling down. So should I go do X, Y, and Z to make myself feel better?" Even though that is how can I say this? Like one of those situations where if your friend chooses the toxic option, that they're going to be unhappy with yourself. You definitely got to watch who you take advice on in situations like that. This can be you got into it with your partner, your ex, whoever you want to call it. You are so mad and you want to go lash out. Or friends that are enabling your toxic behaviors or behaviors that are going to stunt you from growing. I think that you should be careful with that. Things that are going to push you back. Like, for example, I'm going to just give me, if I'm mad at something that a person that I was dealing with or my ex was doing, me personally, I don't want my friend to enable me to do something toxic. I'm my own person at the end of the day, so that's my decision on what I do. However, I do not want my friend to tell me, "Oh yeah, go slash his tires. Go to his house and yell at him." Like, no, don't tell me to do that, because at the end of the day, if I go ahead and do that, I'm going to be so mad at myself. Like, forget how the world looks at it. I'm going to look at myself and be like, why did I even give that person the time of day? Like, why would I do that? That's crazy. I want to blow this person's phone up. Like, I'm not saying we ain't have our fair shares, or I didn't have my fair share of doing stuff like that. I just don't want someone to do that. When I call my friend, I need my friend to calm me down. Okay? That's what I call my best friend for, to calm me down. The next topic is relationship advice. Wow. And I mean, this is a mix of everything. A mix of people saying you shouldn't take advice from people who are single. You shouldn't take advice from people who are divorced. Things like that. People who are cheaters. All y'all wrong if you believe that. And when I say relationships, I'm not talking about just a boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm talking about your friends with benefits stuff too. I gotta say that specifically because y'all see how they attack me. Would they be like, "No, we're not talking about relationships"? I mean, any type of relationship, okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, when it comes to you being in your friends with benefits relationship, you know that you are unhappy in these friends with benefit relationship circumstances, right? You should not be taking advice from someone who is also unhappy in these friends with benefits relationships. However, they want you to be in the same situation they are in. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe it hasn't happened to you. However, people would literally, like, I've seen it, I've heard it, where people sitting there saying, "Dang, like, I don't want to be in situations like this," or "I really do want to be in a relationship with somebody. I really do want a boyfriend." And you got their friends saying, F these guys and forget them. No, you know you can't take nobody serious. Like, you unhappy trying to play the game. Why are you going to give your friend advice to continue to play the game? That's guys or girls. I said what I said. I don't care. Another thing about those type of relationships, or the relationships where they're like, oh yeah, just hang in there with him. He gonna like you eventually. Did that work for you? She gonna like you eventually. Did that work for you? When you tried to do that 10 times? When you tried to force that person to like you? If you keep doing favors for people that you like and you know they don't like you, that's on you. And a lot of times people are doing that because they feel like they can get the other person to like them or get the other person to treat them some type of way. You shouldn't have to buy. You shouldn't have to force. You shouldn't have to pull out. I guess force and pull out go hand in hand. You shouldn't have to do that with someone's attention or love for you. Like, it should just come naturally. Moving on to the next thing in these relationships, a committed relationship. Too many people in relationships talking about they shouldn't take single people advice. I probably was there once. So I'm not going to act like I wasn't. I probably was there once where I'm like, yo, you're not even in a relationship. So how am I about to take advice from you? Now, even in the relationship, it's situational though. So maybe it can be catering, right? To your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And you're trying to get advice from a person who has never catered to somebody who does not believe in catering to somebody. And you feel comfortable catering to your partner because you feel like they cater to you. But you're like, I wonder how I should do this. Maybe you shouldn't get advice from somebody who doesn't believe in catering to their partner, or they think it's insane to cater to their partner. Something where I feel like it's fine to take whose ever advice. Well, I feel like even with the catering though, you can still get what they say because maybe you're doing too much, boo. And they like, all right, you doing too much. He don't do nothing for you and you doing everything for him. Whether they cater to somebody or not, sweetheart, if your friend is telling you that, you should probably pay attention. Especially if you know your partner is not doing anything and you're carrying everything on your back and you're doing everything for the both of you guys. When you guys are having problems, it's okay to talk to your single friend. I don't know who needed to hear that, but it is okay. A lot of people, relationships are different, and sometimes you really need to see that outside looking in type of stuff. Someone said you should, I guess they were saying, like, you should take advice from people who are mature and doing great in life, not nobody that's not on the same level / mindset. And absolutely not yes people. Now, people who are mature and doing great things in life, yes, I would say, like, those are great people to take advice from. However, I kind of disagree with people who's not on the same level / mindset. Only because it depends on the type of advice they're trying to give you. Like, if they're trying to tell you how to move, like how I mentioned before, how people would sit there and try to tell you what to do with your finances, and you could obviously see that they don't even know what to do with their finances, or they're incorrectly using the money that they have. I don't think that those are people that you should take advice from unless they're trying to tell you, one, they cleaned it up. That would be different. If they're telling you, oh, I got it right, because they're trying to help you out of a pitfall yourself. But if they're really trying to give you concrete advice and you can see that they're not even trying to do things properly on their own or handle things the way they should, not on the same level as you, I get it. Because you are someone who wants to use your money right the first time if you get the chance to. And I don't think that's wrong. The next thing she was talking about, which was mindset. I do believe that, you want to talk to someone who is more so goal-oriented like you. I feel like that matters. However, if somebody is like, oh, well, I used to think like this and that when I was younger, and that has messed me up from this part of my life to this part of my life. I think that that's some significant advice for someone who's going down the wrong path. I don't see anything wrong with that. And absolutely not yes people. Yeah, I don't think I can really get around that. I don't want to take advice from a yes man, because yes people are usually people who try to please others so much they don't even think about their own expense or how it affect them. So if they don't really care about how things will affect them, a lot of the times they won't care about how things affect you in a situation. They'll tell you to do the people pleasing option, and we don't want to do that. Someone who's in a position that you admire is someone to take advice from. Absolutely. 9 times out of 10, that person you admire is someone who has goals aligned with yours or who is actually living your goal. Like, I think that's a good person to take advice from. The last thing is only people who genuinely care about you and think things through. So, people who genuinely care about you, absolutely. I think that that's something that I've touched on. When it comes to thinking things through, I can agree with that. Because if someone's looking for the short-term option, that's probably not going to really help you. I don't think y'all want like a temporary fix or what's going to be good for that 5 seconds, Close everything up. I would like to say that even though you are getting this advice from many people, it does not mean you have to take it. It is fine to talk, to vent. However, if you feel like the advice does not benefit you, if you feel like the advice is only based off of that person in their situation and does not apply to you, it's okay not to use it. Take it or leave it. That was that for this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And yeah, see you next Thursday.